los sabecitos. What? Fins up today. Fins up today. Oh, fins up, baby. Miami, stand up. This is Fins Talk today. Let's go. Sun up over there. Game day on the brain. From the tailgate smoke to the hard count rain. Orange aqua on my back. Crowd shaking every seat. We talking ball, talking heat. Turn it up, feel that beat. Fins talk today. Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Bobby Fins talk. Fins Sammy on the way. Miami, vamos. It's Fins talk today. Hey. It's Fins talk today. Who you reppin'? Who you riding? Miami. Who you riding? Dolphins. We break it down, break it live. Every snap, every drive. Hey. Fins talk today. Fins up all day from the 305. We ride that way. Fins talk. Fins Sammy on the way. Miami. Vamos. It's Fins talk today. Hey. Fins talk today.
All right. Good evening, Fins Nation. Welcome to Fins Talk today here on FTSN, powered by Fins Talk Sports Network and Fins TV. I'm Bobby Fins Talk, joined always by my Fins brother, Fins Sammy. Sammy, how you doing, my man?
Hey, we're doing great. That cold weather is, it's really, creeping up here. It's been all week rainy and cold over here. Now, right now, it's very cold, 73 degrees over here. How are you doing, Bobby?
Let's see where it's at today. So first off, the weather in Nashville is bipolar. It's been cold and then it got warm. It was really nice. I went for a walk, 20-minute walk. I'm enjoying. I went up the stairs. I killed my, I was like, but I felt good. It was like perfect. The next morning I woke up. I said, I'm gonna put a short sleeve shirt on. I went outside. I didn't want to look like a little bee, so I went outside. I went, oh my god. So I was like, I'm not going back in the house. My mother-in-law was up. My wife was up. I was like, nah, I didn't do it. So I went in the car, drove to work. It was cold in the building. It was cold outside. I actually went to Target, got a new shirt, put it on. I was like, I ain't doing it. So it's a little chilly again, but it's a nice 43 degrees out. So it's not bad right now. It's not bad at all, really. At least for me. But
I would be tracing my butt, but for you, it's golf weather.
There you go. Shout out to Daniel Taylor in the house. Miami Sports, great to see you. Fins up. Fins Nation, awesome to see you guys as you jump on in here to Fins Talk today, the flagship show on FTSN. The flagship. We're making little flags with Fins Talk today on there. But we appreciate everybody jumping in here. A lot to talk about today. A lot. We have a new passing game coordinator. We're going to touch on that. Some news just came in here from the Schultz report. The Dolphins had requested an interview with Detroit Lions offensive assistant Brad Gronkowski, former quarterback, for their vacant QB coach, but it was rejected by Detroit.
Oh, wow.
So Miami still without a quarterbacks coach, but we do have a passing game coordinator. What are we going to talk about today, Sammy? We're going to discuss obviously that, but we're also going to discuss the most important position on the team. It's everybody's favorite position to talk about. The quarterback. What's going to happen with the quarterback? Not a big surprise. We will give Fitzstanza a shout out that, more than likely, maybe what he said at the midpoint of the season might come true, that the Dolphins are eventually going to move on from Tua, whether that's cut or trade. They want to trade him.
The money on that.
They want to trade him. But we'll see if that plays out the way it should. But what we do know for sure is more than likely Tua won't be the quarterback. So who will be the quarterback? Will it be Quinn Ewers? Will it be one of the rookies who we could possibly draft in the draft? Or could it be a free agent quarterback? The popular name out there, Malik Willis. I mean, everybody and their mother and their cousin and their uncle and their abuela and their abuelo and everybody and their mother keep saying,
Tío, compadre, everybody. Everybody.
They're all going, Malik Willis to the Dolphins. Malik Willis to the Dolphins. We're going to touch on that. We're going to talk about what type of contract he should expect. Should Miami make that move? But there are some other guys out there who Miami could target. They're not going to cost too much, but they might be serviceable. And Miami could still draft a guy. We're going to touch on that. And then we're going to go through a game called Stay or Go. And we're going to run down some names of Miami's own free agents. We're going to say, I want to see that guy back, or I'm good with that guy going. We're going to touch on that. Make sure here, again, watching Fitz Talk today here on FTSN, sponsored by Caneswear. Caneswear will be on later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So for your Hurricane fans, you can hop on after our show, watch them. And of course, they're going to be on again tomorrow. So you got a double header today and tomorrow. Caneswear podcast going live. They're going to talk about the NFL draft and the Miami Hurricanes. Canes hoops upsetting North Carolina. And then tomorrow they're going to go over recruiting and everything else. So, FTSN, there's never really an off season. Sammy's like, I got the off season. I'm good. Not anymore, brother.
Not with you.
Not with me.
No, on Thursday. So,
Yeah, that's right. But we love it. Hey, Sammy, first off, if you guys have not seen it yet, make sure after the show you jump on Fins TV YouTube. Go check out the Fins TV Awards. What a show. What a great group of people. What an all-star voting panel. I mean, my goodness. Former players, columnists, insiders. You had like everybody. And then, of course, the royalty of podcasting. You had Bearded and, you had Sarn.
And the ringmasters also were there.
You had them all. So, man, what an awesome thing there. Let's talk about that very quick. Just run through that very quick. Who did you vote? You didn't say it out loud. I don't think you made.
I don't vote.
Oh, you don't vote?
No, I don't vote.
Wow.
I just count the votes.
All right.
That's the idea. I don't vote. But I will break a tiebreaker if it happens, but it never happened before. So I've been lucky that they were never had a tie with vote.
Okay.
So I've been lucky so far. Because I would not like to have to do it, but I don't have a vote. I will break a tie in that case.
I'll tell you, I did like the Rookie of the Year pick, even though I understand, like Fitz Daniel was talking about Zeke Biggers. I was rolling. If I could throw a guy in there, I was like Jason Marshall, but I understood it. MVP, obviously, Devon Achane. I was surprised that it wasn't a lock. That was the biggest surprise for me, that he wasn't the lock at MVP.
The MVP only wasn't going to announce by one vote. One person did not vote for the one HM for the
Wow.
But other than that, everybody voted for the MVP. Just one dissenting vote. Yes.
Troublemaker, whoever it was.
Yeah. You could, if you think about it, you might guess. But but having said that, no, it wasn't like that. But having said that,
all that mid talk, Fitzstanza.
No, he wasn't him. I'm gonna put it on the spot that I'm gonna say that it wasn't him. So therefore, who he voted for, I should not be blabbing, but I don't want to.
It's all right.
Go to him. But that by one vote, there was mixed votes on the Offensive Player of the Year, but the MVP only one dissenting vote, only one.
Wow. Well, there you go. So it was an awesome show. So if you guys, when you get a chance or immediately after the show, hop over to Fins TV. Go check out that show, the awards show. It was a lot of fun. A lot of great people were on it. And, Sammy continues to kill it over there with an amazing crew. I mean, legit family over there. And I'm just glad to be a part of that, little bit of part of it. The 5 minutes I jump in. Hey!
actually, this time you were a lot.
I felt you actually had me.
Bro was another segment of the whole show. You
had me in the last thing. I'm like, I'm at the end too. Oh, I'm like, I'm moving on in. Hey guys, no, but oh man. So let's go ahead and get into it because Daniel, you're absolutely right. This offseason is going to be very interesting, and I've seen some comments. Whether I'm going to stay Dolphin fans especially. But it really goes for most. There's a lot of distrust and hate, and I get it. I really do. You can't trust the Dolphins because they haven't given you nothing to trust the last few years. But it was a great end to the show the other night on Fins TV. I believe it was Steve Hallett, who was awesome. Dude is great.
Steve's always great.
He said about no expectations.
Mm-hmm. He says that a lot.
And but this upcoming season should be exactly that. Like we're all going to predict records and whatever, and And it's right, 2 games. Bearded brought it up. Shout out to Bearded. I'm so excited. Bearded is coming back
That's awesome.
into the stratosphere here. So whenever he watches, dude, we are so damn excited to have you back in our community. You are bar none. There's only one of you, man. But he was saying, dude, it's true. We'll win 2 games in a row, and that's it. But really, no. Go into next season with no expectations. Let these guys take their time. This offseason is going to be very interesting because what's going to happen with the quarterback? What's going to happen in the draft? You got to remember, you might go, there's no way Miami takes a running back. They have Devon Achane. They have this guy. They drafted Ollie Gordon. Well, yeah, the team drafted Ollie, but not solely, not halfly. So really, it's kind of like a clean slate here. And the guys that might be cut, it's going to be very interesting to see. So we're going to try our best throughout this offseason to go through position with free agency, the draft, and kind of figure out what we think what could happen. David says Brandon Sorsby 2027. Hey, look, that's the thing too. Here's what's cool. I know a lot of people will say, don't draft the quarterback this year, go into next year. Sully's already said, the general manager, John Eric Sullivan, to kind of follow Green Bay's formula about drafting quarterback every year or every other year. I fully expect Miami to draft a quarterback this offseason. If they don't go in free agency and say, okay, we're going to roll with Quinn, let's go ahead and get free agent, which we'll go into. But I expect them 3rd, 4th, 5th round in that range to get a guy. Now, if they do, that doesn't stop them from going into round 1 the season after and getting their guy, especially if that guy doesn't work out in year 1. So all bets are on the table. Shout out to David, though, in the comments. Appreciate David in here and interacting. Daniel, important dates. February 23rd, March 2nd, NFL Combine. March 9th, free agency begins. March 11th, new league year. And the draft on the 23rd through the 25th. And for the draft content, make sure you guys are tuning in Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time for the Fins Talk Draft Show. Myself, Josh Wingate, Coach Vogel. Great stuff. And, of course, the 23rd to the 25th, FTSN will be live through the entirety of the draft. Round 1, 2 and 3, 4 through 7 on Saturday will be live, as we always are. So make sure if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys tuning in. So let's get into it. Again, recent news right now, the Dolphins had requested to the Detroit Lions to interview their offensive assistant, former quarterback Bruce Gradkowski, but the Lions did decline for the QB coach. So Miami continues to search for their new quarterbacks coach, but they do have a new pass game coordinator, Kevin Patula, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. I was surprised, and Sammy, maybe that's because I do so much of this and really social media, it's more about just reading news and doing it, but I don't get into the deep diving of what people care about. Because but I saw a lot of kind of pushback on this move. When I saw it was the Eagles and I saw it was somebody had to do with the offensive side of the ball, their quarterback, I was like, this is not a bad move. I'm actually intrigued by this move. But I saw some hate on it. So, if you know anything at all, please help me out here. What's up with the hate on Kevin Patula?
The name is wearing off on me, but the guy who was our offensive line coach last year for the Dolphins, he came from the Broncos. I forgot his name right now. When he came for the Broncos, a lot of dissension because the players didn't like him. He was basically fired when the whole regime changed, and Dolphins fans said, "Oh man, he sucks," they leaving notes and stuff. Then he came here. We worked with Dan in the offensive line, and Dolphins fans were saying, we trust him or whatever. It's basically the same thing. If you go to the Eagles fans, they're saying, someone page that say, expect Dolphins fans, edge in the middle edge to the middle, every to the middle, long pass and punt. The guy's not coming here to be the offensive coordinator. He's coming here to be a passing coordinator. It's a completely different story. When you have to call the plays and run the whole offense, it's not the same. There are people that are so much better as position coaches than offensive coordinators, and they go back to the position coaches. It happens every single time, every single year in the NFL, and the great position coaches, they're great at their areas. Doesn't mean that basically they're the play call is a completely different story. Maybe he wasn't ready, but he must be doing something right when the Eagles did not fire him. That's the truth. They allowed him to seek other opportunities, and that's why he came to the Dolphins. But they demoted him last season as offensive coordinator, but they did not fire him. So that says a lot. So if you ask me, so I'm not expecting to come here to be the savior, but that's again, I'm gonna say it one more time. Dolphins fans like shiny objects. They like the huge names, and on the other hand, if the name is huge for the wrong reason because he became famous or he wasn't the person they expected to be with the Eagles, now he sucks. Come on, guys, he's only a passing game coordinator. If it doesn't work, he's gonna be out of the job next season because that's what's gonna happen. So coming from the Eagles, he's been there, championship pedigree. I think so. I think he was with the Eagles the last time they won the Super Bowl. That's the kind of guy I would like to have in the locker room. The people who have some experience. I just noticed it a couple of years ago. Via Josina Anderson, that Leslie Fraser wasn't in the coaching staff of the Seahawks. If Mike McDaniel would have done something like that, I'm sorry for bringing Mike McDaniel, but having someone who's that kind of experience, you can only benefit from that. So the fact he comes from the Eagles, was being in the playoffs basically every single year, won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. That's a championship pedigree I would like on my coaching staff. So I have no problem with it. He's not coming here to be the physical coordinator. That's the bottom line.
100%. Yeah, he was the pass game coordinator. He got hired as a pass game coordinator in 2021 with the Eagles, was promoted the offensive coordinator spot after Kellen Moore left to take the job with New Orleans. And Philly did take a step back and on offense. They fell back a little. So maybe that's what fans are reacting, but they forget he was their pass game coordinator before taking on that role. And you're right. Maybe he was not ready. That happens. You get a new job. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll take it. And it doesn't work. It is what it is. Things happen. But I think, again, he's still young. He did help lead one of the top offenses in football, most exciting offenses in football with Jalen Hurts and company. So adding him to our offensive, staff, I don't think is a bad thing, especially when, our defense is probably going to get a bigger look because of our new head coach. So I didn't understand all the hate. I'm with David. I don't get it. Things happen. The whole Eagles team collapsed. It wasn't just the offense or Petula. But again, Sammy, you hit the nail on the head. He's not coming here to be OC. Our OC is Bobby Slowick, and people could criticize that. It is what it is. But again, you go back to how it was when his first year with CJ Stroud. His second year wasn't great, but his first year was good. We'll see how that plays out. But I didn't hate it. I thought it was a very decent hire. I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out, especially with what we figure to be a young offensive team for the Miami Dolphins. Make sure here. For those just joining us, appreciate all those who are tuning in, whether you're watching on X, Fitz TV, FTSN, or my X, or on YouTube. We appreciate everybody watching. If you're anywhere other than YouTube, hop on over, FTSN, hit that like and subscribe button, and let us know your thoughts on the new hire for our pass game coordinator, Kevin Petula. And who would you like to see as the next quarterback for the Miami Dolphins? Are you comfortable with riding in with Quinn Ewers, or do you want to see some competition? They keep talking about competition, so let's get into it. So, excuse me, as we get into it here. First thing is first here, pull this up. This man right here. This is a free agent preview series. We're going to go position by position here and as best as we can. And we're going to talk about some of the top guys or guys that kind of fit Miami a little bit. And the quarterback position, which is the most important position on the team. We know it's the most scrutinized position on the team. And I know a lot of people would prefer, hey, just let's wait 2027, better draft class, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know because the NIL deals could, push a lot of these guys that we would like back into college. So,
yes,
that's why, again, I think Miami's going to draft this year. They'll go again into next year, depending on who's available. But I think they will explore the free agent market depending on how the cap's going to look. Somebody brought up something earlier. Let me see if I could find that tweet because I don't want to start talking and not give him the credit. Well,
while you check, basically right now you have college player fighting in the court to go back to college instead of going to the NFL draft. It used to be the other way around, but players trying to get into the draft if they had time or not. and if they could be in the supplemental draft or not. Now, right now, you have players trying to fight to go back to college. That's the fact of the that's crazy.
That's the crazy thing. You know, it used to, like, you're right. It used to be the other way around. Now it's, you know, everybody's trying to stay in college. So that's why, again, you can't. That's one thing you could criticize, like the Miami Heat on, right? You hear it all the time. Oh, they're not going to trade to do this and this because they're waiting for 2 years for one guy. Nobody should wait till the next year or like go, oh, we're going to not do anything this year because we're going to wait till next year when that player comes out. We don't know if that player is going to be there. So address it or address as best you can now with the expectation that, hey, if we can, let's pull the string and get this guy. Neil Draskell posted this. The Dolphins currently sit $16.4 million over the cap for the 2026 season. How would you address the attack of the salary cap? Tyreek Hill, $22.9 million in savings. This is release him, Alec Ingold, Jason Sanders, and Westbrook Akini, and that will give you about $31.5 million in savings. Post June 1st releases: Austin Jackson, Bradley Chubb. That's another 31.3. Talks about extending Brooks and Brewer, which I think they should. Those are two guys for sure you would want to keep. I wouldn't be surprised. I know some people might feel a certain way, but I talked about this on the other night, and I saw some. If Miami talked about possibly restructuring Bradley Chubb, restructure to keep him on the roster, and because they're going to need an edge rusher, and you know, if they don't plan on drafting one early, maybe keeping him, which I'm totally okay with. But if they could do that, if Miami does what Neil's saying, they could have around, let's see here, $41.2 million in cap space or $31.3 million in cap. So it could happen. Now, I will say that doesn't mean Miami's going to go and spend crazy. You know, that doesn't mean they're going to go nuts. If they got $31 million, they're not going to, you know what I mean? That's if they spent $31 million, I don't know if they would do 2 years, $40 million for Malik Willis. That's one thing I do want to talk about. But Malik Willis, this is a guy who's awfully popular with Dolphin fans. Obviously, the connection is easy. I mean, played for the Packers last year. If anybody, and Sammy, you brought this up, if anybody knows about Malik Willis and what he could bring to the Miami Dolphins better than, you know, and no one else would know better than, of course, Coach Hafley and Eric Sullivan, John Eric Sullivan. So, you know, athleticism, the arm, you know, you have guys on ESPN, they're going crazy. Everybody keeps bringing this kid up for the Miami Dolphins. But again, last year, 423 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was the backup to Jordan Love, but the projected contract for him, and because he's projected to be a starter, could he be the next Sam Darnold? Could he be the next Daniel Jones? I don't know, but the contract screams that's their expectation. Right now, I know it could change throughout the offseason, whatever. Where do you stand on Malik Willis possibly being a target for the Miami Dolphins? And would you be comfortable? Let's say Miami was able to free up 30 million, 40 million. Let's say 31 million. Let's go with the low end just because whatever. 31 million, but 20 million of that goes to Malik Willis. Where would you stand on that?
I just want to start. It's just so complicated. Just first of all, we're gonna have, you know, the cap hit on Tua. The cap hit on Tua is gonna linger on this franchise for the next couple of years. If Malik Willis is not it, and you spend $20 million a year on Malik Willis, that's only gonna get things worse. So hopefully, like I said before, hopefully the new regime knows what they got on Malik Willis, and you know, if they feel comfortable with him, they're gonna probably find a way to roll with him. I'm not sure. I don't think he has enough playing time for me to give him $20 million a year with the situation that we have the Dolphins right now. As a player, he intrigues me, but I would rather have the situation where I can have a rookie quarterback, and you basically, with those savings, you try to find a way to establish a situation with the cap. So if he's it, they're going to know, and they're going to go after him. They're going to go after him hard. But, you know, I have not seen enough from him. It was at one time, like we talked before, he was supposed to be, if not the first overall pick in the draft at one point. That draft by February, but people with most drafts have him going first. For that change, the middle of the first or whatever, high in the first round, and you know what happened? We went the third round to the Titans. So athletically he's there. He's a new breed of quarterback. When you know the quarterback you need right now to improvise out of the pocket. If the pro is not there, he starts running and runs very well. But again, I'm not comfortable with the situation with how we do it right now. We're gonna get such a cap hit to take a risk on a quarterback with so little experience. So $20 million a year. If he failed right now, that would be 54 with Tua probably hit, and Malik with another, I don't know, 17 or 16, or maybe 14 in the cap. That's a lot. So they better get that right. Hopefully they know what they're doing, because if they go after him, they better feel confident, because I'm not.
So yeah, in regards of where he was drafted or what happened in that draft, that was a very, very weak quarterback class.
Yes.
And the problem with the media is they love to overhype a lot of these guys, coming out and he's gonna go here, and they, just to throw a quarterback quarterback. And it was proven that wasn't the case, and he fell. I will say I did like him coming out of Liberty. He's a great kid, great character, class act. He's a competitor. I don't put anything on what happened in Tennessee. I know, first off, shout out to Steve Malay, host of Real Talk Fins Talk and Aging and Strong here on FTSN and FTSN Extra. But I don't put on it where it's like, oh, if he hasn't started, he's not meant to be a starter anywhere. I don't think that's the case, because there are some guys who end up in bad situations and they go somewhere and they're better. They show up and they show out. My thing is, if you're paying him 2 years, $40 million, it's $20 million a year. He's your starter. Unless it's a year and a player option, I don't know, or a team option, I don't know how that works out, but that's your starter. If they're, I don't think this team's coming to tank. Anybody who thinks this team's coming to tank are going to be disappointed. I don't think they are. They may not have a strong team going in, and they're going to try their best with the team, whatever they have. But, if Miami, Halfley, and Sullivan believe, like, hey, we like this kid, we believe in him, whatever, then all aboard. Hey, if they believe in the kid, they've got great views on him. Halfley was coaching the defense. He knows how this kid plays. Sully was in the watching the film, whatever. If they decide not to, one could take it, they just want to pay the cap. Or I would take it as, what, they saw enough that they're like, this is not the guy to do it. And I would be okay with that. I wouldn't hate it, but I would be okay if they didn't do it, especially if it's at that number. I think he should get that number. I think the talent is there. I hope he goes to a team like kind of Daniel Jones, when Daniel Jones went to Indianapolis and you saw that little burst and they kind of, you saw the talent. Or what Sam Darnold did, who many people thought was a bust in the Jets. Goes to the Vikings, shows out, goes to the Seahawks, and, wins a Super Bowl. You never know with these guys. But I don't know if Miami's in a position, as you brought up with Tua, talking about his cap hit and whatever, even with $40 million to spare, $20 million at going to Willis, I don't know if Miami's in a position to do that. So I wouldn't hate the move. I just can't see it. So I understand the fantasy of throwing him on the roster, easy connection, Packer, whatever. Even though it was 1 year with the Packers, I think the cap, the contract alone is probably the disqualifying factor. But we will see. However, staying with it, with free agent quarterbacks, there are other options out there. And again, going after a free agent quarterback doesn't negate you from not drafting one, but it could spare you having to go after one early, or having that urge. If you see a certain guy sitting there at 11 or round 2, you're like, oh, damn, dude, I got to get him. But we got this vet here. So, you got to explore your options here. So I'm going to mention a name. And I know if once DSG sees this, I knew it. But you can't ignore bringing in someone like an Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, another Green Bay connection with Sully, whatever. But as a veteran, not going to cost you as much. I know what he did with the Jets. I don't think it's going to win you a bunch of games, because he didn't really win a lot of games with the Jets anyway. Even though he kind of did it with Pittsburgh, you got him a little bit of a run. But if Miami is serious about just having a competition, or bringing in a guy and like not trying to look like they were going to lose and all that, this is a guy you could possibly bring in, not to compete, but to be your bridge quarterback. The cap hit's not so bad. We have a bad year last year, 3,300 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks. Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people, he's contemplating between retiring and staying. Could go back to Pittsburgh, play for his former coach, Mike McCarthy, or maybe Miami or somewhere else. Sammy, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers as a potential for Miami?
I'm sorry. I just can't stand the guy. I just can't stand the guy. But as a professional, let's give the guy a part. As a pro, what would be the incentive for Aaron Rodgers to come to the Dolphins right now? At the end of his career, if you come rather anyway, of course, he should be on the table. You had to put, if you're the GM, you put all the cards on the table as you're doing, and you put Aaron Rodgers on the table. You have to do it, no matter what. But as a pro, when you're looking for a pro from Aaron Rodgers' side, he's going to say, if I didn't go to Miami when I had the chance a couple of years ago, they didn't want me. Why would I go now? One. And two, I'd rather end trying my best to end my career in Pittsburgh because it didn't go so bad. We made the playoffs. We won the division. So I'd rather go to Pittsburgh. So, and, now he's going to probably have one coach he had success with because, of course, he had – with Mike McCarthy, he has a sexy Green Bay. So it has a lot of incentive to go back to Green Bay. From the Dolphins side, I don't think that will work a lot because, the guy has an ego. The Dolphins are not ready to win right now. So I will not put that, I'm going to say that, cancer on my locker room right now because the guy has an ego. The Dolphins are going over the next season. So that probably is not going to work. So I will not age and the talent base. If he was a Rodgers from 10 years ago, woof. I will do anything to get it, probably, because the talent was amazing. But right now, with the Dolphins situation and Aaron Rodgers' ego, I would not do it.
Yeah, it's the same as last year. Again, mention him because he's going to be available.
Mm-hmm.
Understand Sully more than Halfley. I don't see the connection with Halfley, but Sullivan, maybe. But like you said, ego, Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast brings it up as well. I know DSG jokes about it, but again, cap number makes sense. Veteran makes sense. Aaron Rodgers does not because of what it will bring. You're trying to establish a new culture in Miami. Physical, no nonsense team. He's not there. He's not that guy. He's not somebody who's going to help establish a type of culture because he's bigger than that. His ego is bigger than that. So, yeah, could I see it in regards of number and connection? Possibly. And the type of way he runs the offense that's similar, sure. But other than that, no. And I don't know if I would want that headache in Miami at that point. But another guy who's a veteran, these other guys we're going to talk about, these other two guys, are guys that I think could come in, be that veteran presence, not be a liability on the field, but also contribute to possibly the culture and, not hurt you in the locker room, whatever. This one guy is a guy who he actually retired. He was watching TV on his couch. They called him. He came back, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute. This guy could play. And then you listen to him talk. First off, you watch, a film of him on the field talking. Great. Leader, all of the above, Super Bowl champion. You watch him off the field talking. You're like, this guy's a future coach. This is a guy I would not hate. And that's Joe Flacco. Flacco would be a guy I could totally see Miami making a move. Yeah, he doesn't fit perfectly to a T, the type of offense they may run. He does in some ways. But if you're looking for a veteran presence and something that's not going to hurt you, this could be that guy. He's not your automatic starter. 1 year, $5.5 million, possibly. He could compete with Quinn Ewers, or you could say, "Hey, Joe, can you mentor the kid? Whatever." And if Quinn struggles, you throw Joe in there. But this is a guy that I don't think will give you the drama. This is the guy that's going to hold everybody to a certain standard. You got another coach on the field. Again, 2,479 yards, 15 touchdowns, 10 picks. What are your thoughts on Joe Flacco possibly being an option for the Miami Dolphins?
Joe Flacco would have been my choice in 2023, 2024, 2025. Every single year that Tua had a chance, he would. If you ask me, he would have been Tua's backup because I think that's the kind of guy Tua needed behind him. A guy that will push him enough, will show how to be a pro, and you put, with a non-nonsense kind of guy. So that would have been a great example to Tua to have behind. So I would have had Joe Flacco on this team a long time ago if I had a chance. If you're sticking with Q Ewers for the next season, that would be my guy. No, hands down, I would put him behind him. I would show him how to be, how to be great. It would be kind of a Fitzpatrick situation when, if the Dolphins are basically trying to tank, Joe Flacco will never go for that. So, you're going to get some wins that you probably should have lost, because that's the kind of guy that, always right place to win. I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to tank next year, but if you're going to go with the youth movement and that a lot of inexperience, we're going to get a lot of losses. And Joe Flacco probably going to save probably a game or two to be trying to do the best for the team. So it will be interesting. I would love for him to be the backup. If probably at this point of his career, he will probably go to Cincinnati, who basically has a chance at the playoffs. Those kind of guys, would love to have one last chance to be a backup on a team that has a chance to win it all. So the guy doesn't need the money. He made a lucrative career for himself. So from the Dolphins standpoint, I would love him to. From his standpoint, I think he's probably going to pass.
There you go. Let's see. Shout out to the comments. Everybody commenting, and however you feel. I appreciate it. Let us know, Steve Malloy, you have to draft a quarterback. Then you have a quarterback competition with Ewers. He's no on Malik Willis. Adrian, why not try Cam Newton, Kaepernick? Ha, ha, ha. Kirk Cousins. Maybe. Joe Flacco, Phillip Rivers. I'd probably prefer Joe Flacco over Rivers, even though I love Rivers.
Phillip Rivers can be quarterback coach if he wants.
There you go. I'd be down with that. Daniel Jones. So he's going to be a free agent. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, more than likely he goes back to Indy. But let's say if Indy does not decide to do that, if you're not willing to pay over $20 million for Willis, then I don't know how you're going to do that because you're going to pay a little more to Daniel Jones. Jones is going to command a little more. I wouldn't hate it if Miami was good with Cap. I wouldn't hate that. I didn't hate Daniel Jones coming out of college. I knew what his limitations were, but I also know what he could do. Athletic, he does have an arm, and you saw a little bit of what happened with Indianapolis. But at this point in time, I don't see it. But I would give me Joe Flacco over Aaron Rodgers in this scenario. If we're talking Joe Flacco every day of the week.
Daniel Jones, the Achilles thing, that's gonna be, that's a huge question mark, because that injury, that's always tough the first year.
Oh, 100%. Another guy who is a veteran, former first-round pick. He was a backup last year for the Commanders, but somebody I think who could be a decent backup for the Miami Dolphins, especially, or compete with Quinn Ewers for a job, who could probably play for these Marcus Mariota. Again, this is a guy I always say, like, but my Dolphins need a backup. Tua needs a backup. Bring in Marcus Mariota. Never happened.
His hero. That was his hero. That was Tua's hero.
Yeah. But Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel were allergic to quarterback competition, apparently. Except before McDaniel got fired, he was like, we need that. Like, well, it's too late now.
Too late.
But you can have it now. But Mariota is another guy, not going to kill you in the cap. You could sign for a year, have him compete, either start or back up Quinn Ewers, and, see how the season rides out. 1,600, it's almost 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a year, $8 million, possibly. What are your thoughts on Marcus Mariota?
Marcus Mariota has one attribute I like of my backups. I always believe that you going to have a backup quarterback. It has to be mobile, because usually the backup quarterbacks don't get a lot of reps during the season, don't get a lot of reps during training camp. So the backup quarterback should be ready to run, should be ready to improvise. So I like my backup quarterbacks. I like my quarterbacks to be able to run. That's the guy Marcus Mariota is right now. He's not a great passer. So many people expect that coming out of college, but he's not that. He still can run. He still can improvise. So another guy that I'm not sure he's going to be able to come here to Miami. We had going to have a lot of opportunities, but it will be a good guy to have as a backup. Ewers, he's going to compete for that job. If Marcus Mariota comes, he's going to expect to be there. He's going to be the star. The only competition is Quinn Ewers. So that will be interesting. I would not be opposed to it just because he has the attributes I like in the backup quarterback.
100%. I wouldn't be opposed to it at all because again, he's not an automatic. He's not an automatic starter, but he's going to push the rookie or the young Quinn Ewers, and he's not going to win you a bunch of games for those who are afraid about winning games. But you'll have a viable veteran back there, and the guy, like you said, he's agile. He could run. He can run the Slowick offense, Halfley offense. Another name I don't have a video for it because but another name that I thought was interesting. I love that Adrian threw some names in there: Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. There's other names that could possibly come available, but a name that would be available. This guy's a younger guy. It's a guy that, he was drafted. People thought he was going to be the heir apparent in Pittsburgh. Didn't happen. Went to Cleveland, got cut, went to the Raiders, had a little bit of a run there. Not really a run, probably a game or whatever. But this is a guy, he's young. He's not a guy you think, oh, it's automatic starter. No, you're going to compete. And hey, if you find something in him, great. If you don't, you move on. So the name that Kenny Pickett is a guy who's going to be available. Again, didn't have a big, nothing spectacular, hasn't had a good year. And this guy could possibly be a backup. Think of it like that. But also, again, a guy young enough that if he shows off in preseason, or a guy, if Ewers gets hurt, he could come in. You see what you got with him. It doesn't work. You bounce. 1 year for $5.5 million. If Miami didn't go for a flyer on any of the other, doesn't get one of the veteran guys or doesn't go and draft, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be against a flyer on someone like Kenny Pickett. Sammy, you?
That's basically the blueprint teams are using right now. You bring someone in that probably has not worked on someone else's scheme, but my scheme is going to work. And coaching staff love to do that. Every single coach feels like they can fit that player, that quarterback. They can fix that wide receiver with attitude or that cornerback who's an asshole. But they can come in here and we can bring him here and he's going to behave here, going to play well. And by next year, they're out. So I would not be surprised that every single team can feel they can take a flyer on Kenny Pickett. The money's right. $5.5 million for a quarterback that young is not that bad for the first round pick. I have not seen enough for him. If you ask Steelers fans, they got a lot of frustration with the Steelers. A lot of frustration. I think he went to Philadelphia, and fans were frustrated him even as a backup quarterback. So it's interesting. It's someone who would not cost a lot. If you're tanking, he might be your quarterback. But again, every single team believes that they can bring someone like Kenny Pickett and probably get the best out of him, probably fix him. Only this one team might be the Dolphins, who knows? But I think there are better opportunities on the board.
Yeah, 100%. So name to throw out there. Again, there's other names that could come free. I think the preference. I think a veteran makes sense, no matter if you draft a guy or not. I think that's something that Miami's going to do anyway. But again, if you were to ask me one of those guys, the guys that we discussed, Flacco, Mariota, those are guys that I would be down with.
There's someone else that rumors that might be cut.
Go for it.
It's it is Geno Smith, and Geno played kind of well in Seattle.
Yeah.
He went with the Raiders, and they didn't work. It didn't work. The regime is out, so I would not be so shocked or surprised if Geno Smith gets called to the Raiders or been traded. So Geno Smith is the kind of guy that if you think you got a bridge quarterback for the next couple of years, if the money's right and Geno's willing to take a little less because apparently he was asking for a lot of money in Seattle, he might work in Miami. Who knows?
Maybe. David, I'm with Sammy. We drafted Quinn. Competition will make the great ones rise to the occasion. I hope he can do it. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. I've seen Pickett under center against Miami 4 years ago. He wasn't that good of a quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of those games. Like he
did. That's why. Yeah. That's why he's on his 15.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm not saying again when I bring him up, it's not as really like as a starter. It's more of a quarterback coming to compete, backup, whatever.
Yeah, taking the chance. Sure.
You guys in the comments there. Let me know what name.
I love the comments tonight. They're on fire.
No, they are. Let me know the name, guys. If we mention them, what guys would you prefer? A veteran, free agent, or guy? Maybe if we didn't mention them, like Adrian bringing up Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones or whatever. But think about the hit. Think about the hit, the cap hit. If it's going to be some crazy number, more than likely won't happen. Kyler Murray to Minnesota. That's interesting, especially.
What? What I think he's going to go.
What?
I think he's going to the Jets.
Kyler Murray.
The kind of team. The Jets is the kind of team you would know do something like that. And I'll tell you what. I know Kyler Murray is not being great, I know Kyler Murray, he doesn't have a lot of fame for having a great work ethic. Really likes to play video games and study a lot. But I'm a softie for that kind of quarterback that used to be a baseball player, athletic, and has those two that kind of movement, that athleticism. If the guy was committed to his craft and was a student of the game, he will be such a much better player. But the players is right now with the reputation, I would not take a flyer on him with that kind of money. But that just is the kind of thing that they would.
That would be good, especially because I saw a mock recently. They had Ty Simpson number 2 to the Jets, and I just don't see that. But who knows?
They have to for some picks. They can take it with the second pick. I don't think they have to go with the first.
Yeah. But excuse me. So again, let me know what you guys think, please. And if you watch the show after we're live, appreciate you either way. Put in the comments quarterbacks that you might think. I know everybody says, "Oh, I want draft." I get it. Veterans guy. If you think of a veteran guy, put them in the comments. Let me know. Love to know. Geno Smith, Cap says, which of course Sammy just brought up. So Cap, you're right with Sammy on that one. That's interesting. I wouldn't hate that at all. At the right price,
Yes.
Bobby spoke of that. Oh man.
Oh, what a guy.
Trouble, bro. Trouble. See what I'm telling you? I told you, like, I was feeling good, and as I keep going, I start to get stuffed up. It is like, it's weird how that works.
Yeah.
And I'm already out of water. Son of a bitch. So anyway.
Me too.
Damn,
I had some
dude.
chips before the show, and now I'm regretting it because
That's right, you see. Now let's talk about our own free agents, not guys that are gonna be free agents.
Oh boy.
And let's play some stay or go. All right. Oof. We'll go through the list and we'll, stay or get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I thought that should be fun, because there are some guys there are some guys on that list that I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And there's other guys like, nah, we're good. But Sammy, let's start with, we're talking quarterback. So let's start with the quarterback, Zach Wilson. This is easy, right? I mean, stay or go, man.
The only incentive that Dolphins fan had for Zach Wilson last season was to see his mother on camera, and they didn't even show her. So I never got the Zach Wilson signing. I never did. So infamous with the Jets. I would have gone with Mac Jones instead. Probably any other person. I get the athleticism, the arm is there, but and the reports were good that he was practicing well with the Broncos, but I don't know. I've never seen anything in Zach Wilson that makes me believe that he's going to be the next Sam Darnold. And I get that every single quarterback with the Jets, when they go somewhere else, they're better. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, so many others. But Zach Wilson is the one who I don't think is going to make it. So I cannot tell you that any reason why he should stay. He should be out.
Yeah, I'm go as well. There's only so much room on the roster for quarterbacks. And again, I think Miami could go after a free agent guy and then go draft a guy. And if they do that, then Zach needs to go. I didn't see enough out of him when he did play last year. And I don't think he's going to be, I don't see him in a competition with Quinn Ewers. I know Quinn Ewers, it's not like, oh, he's going to be the next thing. It's not like that, but he's only had a couple games. So we got to see what we have on him. And I want to see him compete, but I want him to see him compete against somebody who could actually challenge him. I don't think Zach can. So I would say go. Ashton Davis.
Mm-hmm. Ashton Davis, I think that this regime would like to go with someone younger at the position. Probably I think they're trying to build the team of the middle, to strong to the middle, good safeties, good linebackers, good defensive tackles. So I don't think he's coming back. Neither is Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm gonna say already tell you that. I don't think he's gonna come back. I don't think any of the safeties will come back. I think it was a patchwork. The Dolphins were looking for scrap. They're looking for the dented cans on the supermarket, and Ashton Davis got here, but I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would say go. Zach Wilson, Ashton Davis, get out of here. Everybody's favorite offensive lineman, Liam Eichenberg. Stay or go?
He has to stay. Of course, that guy is a key component of the Dolphins offense. Liam Eichenberg, basically what I heard at one point was that the reason why they resigned him is because the liability he had, it cost less against the cap or something like that. That was why he came back. But after it will be in doubt if he ever plays again. Apparently, the injury is that bad. There were reports during last season that there were doubts he will even play that again. So if he plays again, hopefully he plays again. I would love for him to bounce back, but not here. I think the Dolphins better if they're cleansing the franchise. If they're gonna move around from Tua and even the coaches, the offensive coaches that were good, they're cleansing the franchise. They have to let the young guy compete for sure.
I understand what Eichenberg offers to a team. A guy who I know I understand with the fans, but with a team, why they would keep him. I don't know about the cap, but I do know, like, again, versatility. He could start at the right side. He could start at the left side. You could put him at guard. You could put him at center. That's what he offers. So, if a guy goes down, plug and play Eichenberg. But personally, preferably for me, it's bye. Time to go.
High character.
Good luck to you.
High character too. Yes.
Oh, he's a good dude. And again, I understand if he was to stay, I know fans will, look, but really what he offers, to the staff, to an offensive line coach who's like, we need a veteran guy. Yeah, he's not perfect. He's not our starter. But if a guy goes down, that's your guy. You can plug him, have him for a game or two, and move on.
Yes.
Jake Bailey. This is a guy who I think for me is my first stay. Eichenberg, I could talk about and say, I could convince or try to talk about it, but I have 3 goes, but he's my first stay. I think I would keep Jake Bailey.
The Dolphins are going to punt a lot next season. So if there's a guy who basically shined last season, bounced back, and looked like the player we're expecting him to be, was Jake Bailey finally. I think he performed very well last season. And the last part of the season before, so I will be happy he stays. I don't know if probably he's going to ask too much for a punter, and the Dolphins might not be able to do it. They might have to go with a younger guy. But if he asks for me and the money's right, I would love for him to stay.
Benito Jones. Stay or go?
Benito Jones has been here before and played with Detroit. He came back. I think the Dolphins are going to – I should find a way to go younger, even more young at the middle of the defensive line. I think that he's a capable guy. He's not he's not a building block, if you ask me. So
no,
I will move from him for sure. Try to go with a younger guy if possible.
Yeah, with the 3 rookies they drafted already last year, what they could possibly add already this year, maybe a guy I would think he's a go.
Sid Biggers is on the rise up, so I think Sid Biggers might take his position anyway. So.
100%. Darren Waller. Daniel says stays. He already threw him in there. Darren Waller, for me, I would say stay at the right price. Stay at the right price. I don't know if he does, but I would like to see him to stay. But I don't know if it goes over a certain amount. I'm willing to let that walk. And again, you could look towards the draft and get somebody in there and go that way. But Ray Finkel says should stay. David Ferguson is going to re-retire again. He says for him. What do you think? Stay or go, Darren Waller?
Okay, Darren Waller. I owe an apology to Darren Waller because I expected him to be the latest member of the Miami Dolphins 401k plan, retirement plan. And when he got injured, I said, okay, goodbye. See ya. There goes another one. But the guy played hard every single chance he get. He played very, very well. He played as the best tight end we have in years in Miami, basically coming out of retirement. So big, so important. He still can run. As a player to my team, if I have a team, any team, that's the kind of player I would like to have because he's so athletic and he shows some gas in the tank. I don't know if going to next year, another year wear and tear at his age, that I will be willing to take the risk when I'd rather go with a younger guy to see if he can develop. But if the money's right and the attitude is right, I would love to have him back. But I think that the reason why he came back was because he had a close relationship with the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach, either one of them. And that's one of the reasons that he said, if you're somewhere, I'll come back to play for you. And that's what he did. That's the reason why he came to Miami. So, and Dolphins even had to trade for him for that to happen. So that's just crazy. So I don't think he's gonna come back next year. But if the money was right, with that kind of talent, even at his age, it would be hard pressed to say no. How to say yes, probably.
Elijah Campbell.
Wow. Elijah Campbell, so good at special teams, and he finds always his way to he finds his way to the starting lineup. He's a guy that he's there for the special teams, but the safeties always go down, and and the cornerbacks go down. He plays the slot, plays the safety, whatever. So he always finds a way to come back. It's a guy that knows how to embrace his role. He's a team player. I would love to have him back.
Yeah, he offers a lot to the team. He's not a star. He's none of that. But what he could do, multi-faceted. It's like Eichenberg. You can put him in a bunch of spots. Special teams, secondary. You plug and play, move on. So I would say stay for Elijah Campbell. Kendall Lamb's another guy. There's a guy that left side, right side. You put him but I think he's towards the end. He had a drop off last year. I think he's a go. I think Miami may move on from him.
Kendall Lamb, the year before, said he was going to retire because he wasn't play well. Came back, signed with the Eagles, still injured. Didn't play his best because he wasn't the best. He was still hurt. That tells you a lot. Kind of bashed the Dolphins, saying that the Eagles, blah blah blah, which was right, but we didn't stay quiet. Gets out of Philadelphia, comes back to Miami, and again, like you said, he never played that the guy he played that good year that played multiple positions. So I think that he's either he's injured or that retirement thing that he said is probably the time is now. I will not bring him back now.
Yeah, Joe Cardona.
Yeah, as a long slapper, of course. As a tight end, not so much.
Kenakohu, stay. Too valuable. Yeah. I would. That's a stay. Figure out how you can work that deal, especially because the secondary, is a weakness. You can't lose too much there. I think he has value. I think you could probably get him on a good value, and so I'd say absolutely say stay.
During the first half of the season, the Dolphins show you the importance of having a good nickel corner, and Kenakohu is it. So I would bring him back for sure.
Malafanru, one of the safeties signed with Ashton Davis last year. Right now, I'm going to say go. I think it's go.
I already basically tipped the answer to this question. I will go say young safety, so I will go.
Larry Borum.
I will bring Larry Borum back because if someone came with low expectations to the Dolphins from the Bears was Larry Borum. Chris Spears sucks, and basically he didn't play great. It's not like Pro Bowl caliber, but he exceeded expectations. He was very solid. He was, every single game when Liam Eichenberg was there, you knew Liam Eichenberg was there. Larry Borum was there, and you only, every time or so, a penalty or something, you know Larry Borum was there. That tells you a lot. But you don't know the guy's playing, it's showing you something. And, Austin Jackson, who knows if he's going to come back. If you can't, I will bring him back because, of course, free agency before the draft, I will bring Brad Brown back with the thought that he might be the right tackle going into next season if we cannot have a defensive right tackle. So I will bring him back.
Malafanru? What did I say?
Malafanru, right?
Yeah, that's say Malafanru again. I want to check something. What? Adrian's always causing trouble. Always have me second guessing. Stop it. I'm stuffed up, dude. Now I can't breathe. I'm trying to breathe through my mouth and talk.
That's probably it.
Malafanru. I don't know what I said. Message me, Adrian. Let me know, dude. Did I say something wrong?
Send me a voice with it. What do you want to say? How's it spelled?
Yeah, you know how to connect with me. And send me a message. Let me know if I said something wrong. I don't think I did. I think you messed with me. Artie Burns.
Okay, Artie Burns. I think it was signed for $1.5 million last season. He didn't receive a snap. My brother. He's a go.
KJ Britt.
He was supposed to enhance on special teams, and the one thing I remember him was he had a very good place, and then he disappeared on one penalty that I remember. He's a role player, but he's a guy that always has upside. That's the kind of player that probably comes a game or two and how you bring on my life, and then falls flat in the face of the earth. So probably I will bring him back if they're at the right price. I have no reason not to bring him back.
This is a name that's interesting. Burns, I'd say go. KJ Britt, depending. Like you said, there's good, bad plays. Probably offers you more on special teams. But a name that's interesting, I'm going to say go now, but a name that I think could be looked at is Mattinson. He had a very strong training camp, a lot of high expectations going into last year, got injured, didn't see anything.
Knee injury, was it?
I think it was a knee injury, yeah.
Mm.
So I'm going to say go. What about you?
Running backs, I think he's turning 30, if I'm not mistaken, if his Dolphins closed. And injuries for running backs that next year after coming from injury, the first year after an injury, either the Achilles or the knees are always rough. So I think he was playing hard, running hard, doing that. It would have been so interesting to see what he could do. But right now, after that injury, I have to probably look somewhere else.
Dwayne Eskridge. Now Adrian is messing. I can't. I'm saying names and I'm getting nervous as I say them now because I'm trying to. Dwayne Eskridge.
Yeah, you're gonna tell that to the Puerto Rican guy who not with a stutter. Come on, you're doing great. Dwayne Eskridge. High ups at times. You know, the bottoms and the penalties and the stuff and the drops are kind of the fumbles are kind of like, I don't know. I had high expectations for him at one point at the start of the season, but after a couple of fumbles, I think I kind of remember a couple of fumbles that, you know, I was kind of nervous him be back there returning kickoffs and punts. I'm not saying we could do better, but we could do a lot worse. So I would not mind bringing him back for another season. That would be okay.
Riley Patterson. This one's interesting.
Kicker, right? That's the kicker. Okay.
Yeah.
He played really good this season.
He did. Sanders might be a cap casualty, even though, like, you know.
That's the issue. Patterson is younger, probably cheap, because right now we don't know, probably cheaper. That's rough. That's rough because ideally we will bring him back and have a good old quarterback and kicker competition and see what happens. But I'm pretty sure that they're gonna decide the fate of the kickers by the beginning of free agency. So I think he might come back. I remember this regime has nothing on the kicker.
No, it doesn't.
Previous kicker.
No.
So they have no problem. If it's cheaper and equal, I think it might come back.
Yeah, I think it. I like Jason Sanders. Sucks what happened to him, but I think Patterson might be staying. Daniel Brunskill.
I would bring him back just because of the fact that he exceeded expectations. The question is now is if, since he exceeded expectations, you want to ask for more money, you know. But you know, the offensive line, the Dolphins, they had to revamp that whole offensive line. But you know, he excelled in such a bad offensive line that either they improve the offensive line greatly and you say he's now up to par, or it's going to take a while to do it. So if it's going to take a while to do it, I might have well bring him back because, you know, he was versatile. I think he did his role very, very well.
Cole Strange.
Bill Belichick loves Cole Strange so much that he was projected to be a third-round pick. You remember Sean McVay making fun of that pick?
Yeah.
Who that? No, we had him rated at the third round, and the Patriots taking it the first. Quack, 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 quack. Laughing so hard. So, but he came to Miami, and he wasn't bad. He wasn't awful. Those guys play better, play better than Liam Eichenberg. So that
I would say stay. That one I'm staying.
It's hard for me not to. I don't know how much they're gonna fit the scheme, the offensive line scheme for the Packers, but I don't see too much of a difference. So they're probably both gonna come back probably.
Yeah. Ethan Bonner.
Oh man, why do I have a feeling that he's always injured?
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm correct on that, and basically he's more injured than not, I will move on.
There you go. Julian Hill.
Well, talking about a guy that changed his ways because the season before last, every time Julian Hill either a drop or a penalty or a holding or something like that, Julian Hill, he was playing because he made a mistake. Last season, he actually played okay. He he was passed over. From the wasn't the first tight end, not the second tight end. He was basically he regressed a little bit on that because other players play better than him. But he apparently he's so strong, that's so impressive the run game that he's an asset. And those are planning to run back. I will bring him back for the price is right, but I would not be so shocked if another team takes a flyer and basically play more than his worth. So I will bring him back at the right price.
I think you're what you said before saying that last part will happen. I think the Chargers may go and grab him, and he go with McDaniel over there and do nothing. Cameron Good, linebacker.
Cameron Good is one of those guys that we're always expecting to do more. Yeah, during training camp, he's the French spray. He's gonna come back. He's gonna get cut, and then he plays the whole season. But 1 or 2 plays a year, and it's not enough. So even he's worried too much of special team that he needs to come back, or he should be let go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it might be a special teams play, so I'm in between on it. But I'll say,
but his value so high on special teams. That special teams are banging the table. I need that guy. I bring him back. If not, move on.
Sorry. All right, Matthew Butler, D-tackle.
I know, but I will go younger defensive tackle. So
there you go. So a go on that one. So
I like that. That was really fun.
Yeah, it wasn't nice, challenging a little bit, isn't it? Yes. Here's some interesting thing here from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. So of course, saying the Dolphins and Tua will part ways. That's it. We're aware of that. But he also says the prevailing theme around the league is that new GM John Eric Sullivan loves draft picks. He's going to do whatever he can to get more picks, including trading Tua and other pieces, quote unquote. So something to monitor for the Miami Dolphins. And that's the other thing. A lot of people, that we'll talk a lot on this show. We'll talk on the Finstock Draft Show is what will happen at pick 11. Will Miami stay put, play draft best player available, or will they trade down and get more picks? It could happen, especially with this regime as Miami tries to stack picks and plug and play players. We'll go through free agents, but Miami could be, filling in spots with a bunch of rookies.
The important thing is that you wait for your turn before you write a trade back. Not like Jimmy Johnson did when Randy Moss, they traded 1 hour before the draft, traded back 1 hour before the draft, and Randy Moss was there where the Dolphins would have picked, and he never picked them. So, wait till your turn. And if
let the draft come to you.
Let the draft falls to you, and then if no one's there, no one fell off,
maneuver.
Then you trade back.
Or like the Dolphins, you trade back, and then you trade back. You trade backward, then you trade back forward, and you come back with Jalen Waddle, and they're like, okay, cool, Jamar Chase, but okay, is what it is.
But anyway. I would have taken Penei Sewell, regardless. I would have taken Penei Sewell. I think that we need an offensive line, so I would have taken Penei Sewell. Well, why did I?
That's right. Let me make sure here, Mr. Comments. Time to upgrade our secondary. Go. Time to go Ethan Bonner, Adrian. So
the Patriots showed the importance of having good corners, right? That's the only reason they went to the Super Bowl. Because if not,
Christian Gonzalez is great, man.
Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah.
That's
going to be a run on cornerbacks after that performance because that guy showed the importance of having a shutdown corner or a cornerback that basically can run and cover anyone because that's the reason.
Last year when everybody was talking about every other pick, Kenneth Grant, this guy, that guy. I'm not hating on Kenneth Grant, but there was everybody else they were going for. The one player I kept banging the table for, of course, Will Johnson, but we had the injuries and we don't know. We'll see. He out of Michigan, but the one I was banging the table for was Jahdae Barron out of Texas. Even when we had Jalen Ramsey, I wanted that corner out of Texas, Jahdae Barron. Went to Denver, had a solid year. Hopefully, we'll see. Don't sleep at corner at 11. Monsieur Delane out of LSU or McCoy out of Tennessee. And there's other ones, of course. Takuro Davis out of Washington, maybe in the 3rd round. That's another 6'4" corner. There's a lot of decent corners. It's a solid draft class for corners, but we'll check it out. But anyway, Sammy, are you on Fitz TV or Fitz TV officially on break now?
Yes, we're on break. We're on break until the free agency episodes. Though basically, we're on break. This is the time of the year that I admire what you and other content creators do. To be able to be every single week with a couple. You do so much stuff on FTSN, but that's why you're the podmaster. But the podfather of his nation. But it's difficult. It's difficult to come with content every single week. So I know Steve deserves a rest, and Shari wants a rest. They want to have their time. So you basically all your rest during the season. We have one episode in March, one in April for the draft, and so on, one for each one. So until training camps comes and we'll start the season.
There you go.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna be here with you Thursday. So
yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? So we got it. We're here all off season, man. And on FTSN, of course, you got Real Talk Fids Talk, Steve Malloy. You got Fids Talk today with me and Sammy on Thursdays. East 10th Street Boys. We'll see if there's an episode this week. Alex got some stuff going on. The Canes Wear podcast, which is live right now. So they just started. So once this is over, you guys hop on over there, talk some Canes, if that's what you're into. And No Holds Barred Wrestling will be doing our part 2 of WWE Unreal this Saturday. And of course, Sunday, we got OTC Miami Dolphins, the Fitz Talk Draft Show when Wingate, Vogel, and myself, and we'll have a guest, Drew Collins, on, who was at the Senior Bowl, get his take on the Senior Bowl, his take on the Dolphins draft, and go from there. So, Sammy, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Every single week something happens. So let's hope by next week we have a quarterback coach because, we talked about it so much last week. It's so important for a defensive coach, head coach, to have a capable offensive staff. So every loss on the offensive staff is kind of important. I'm not saying like today is not going to be on the world, but I would like to have a capable quarterback coach, because we were just going to quarterback. They're probably going to be drafting someone young. So the fact that they right now don't have a quarterback coach, I'm starting to, it's kind of worry. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But that will be interesting for sure.
Well, the good thing is that whoever's going to be their quarterback is probably not on the roster yet, minus Quinn. So, I'm not too concerned yet. It sucks that the guy that they hired ditched, but it is what it is. Maybe it's, again, a blessing in disguise. Maybe we get somebody good.
Look at Cap. He likes the Podfather. See it? The Podfather. Bobby thinks the Podfather. I know you have the ring that you can.
That's right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Give me a minute here. I got it here. I always have it available. I'm the Podfather.
I'm gonna give you enough, but you can't refuse.
Yeah, that's right. I actually have. I'm gonna send you something right after this. Now that you said that, I have an image. It looks like I'm the Godfather. Bobby is struggling. I am. My freaking nose is all stuffed up. I'm trying to I'm trying to go like this. I'm trying to whatever I can to try to maybe not loosen it, but it's not like it's not disgusting. It's stuffed. Does that make? I don't know if that makes sense. So it's annoying as hell. Once I stand up, it'll go away. Probably. I don't know.
Well, of course, it's so cold outside. If you go outside, one part of the day, there's no way they will come back to the heat. All those things are gonna get you.
Yeah.
Stuff. That's impossible.
It's all good. It is all good. But anyway, appreciate you all turning in, watching us here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you join us after the show, thank you for dropping by, putting your comments who you think Miami could target in free agency as a quarterback. If you would like to go that route, I don't think that negates going after a quarterback in the draft. And who would you stay and go? Are there any guys that we said go that you're like, no, we should keep them? Or any guys we said stay, you'd say go in? What about that new information from Jerry B. Fowler that Sully, as a guy who wants draft picks, and he wants to trade to it for draft capital, he's looking to trade a lot of other pieces for draft capital. So
it will be really, really interesting if, at the end of the day, Dolphins find a way to trade to for capital. That would be really something, because someone's talking about the Dolphins might have to send something away with Tua and some money. If Sullivan finds a way to get something for Tua, that would be a help.
I'm saying again, if you, I think a victory. I know, like, really, like I would be if he came away with like I think a third round pick is way too rich because of the cap situation, unless how much they take back. But if they came away with a fourth round pick, I'm like, damn, at least they came away with something.
And you know what? It's been proven. This is the end of the season and this season and this offseason. Tua is gonna end up somewhere next season. For those who said he's gonna retire, he's not good for any team, he's gonna play for a team. I'm not saying he's gonna be the starter. He's gonna be on a team. He's gonna be in someone's team. If Philip Rivers comes out of retirement, also has a high school coach, Tua can be a backup quarterback for somewhere. He's gonna play somewhere.
They're gonna bet on him being the next Geno, or maybe he's the next Sam Darnold who leaves his team and blows it up. That's what they're gonna bet on. So yes, a team. That's why if he is cut, if a team says we're gonna wait and they can't trade and he gets cut, he's gonna go somewhere.
And he's gonna look great during training camp and gonna make the run for his money to every quarterback he's in front of him. But you know the rest, and by now we know the limitations, and it's sad because the die was so huge, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. It will be interesting, and like I said, brought up in the comments before, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. Again, Tua for sure we know, but who else? Who's another player that maybe we're not thinking about could be on the move? I know there's some in the network. Devon Achen, God forbid.
Those are
Jalen Waddle. Would Waddle be a guy who?
Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson, I think for sure might be a name out there, but I think there's gonna be names where we turn around and go, whoa, wait, what? And they're just stacking picks, and let's ride, let's do it. It's time to tear it down and move on. We'll see, but
you can have a lot of picks and you might be able to draft well, but from what I heard, and you're more in contact with the draft than me, this is actually not the deepest draft, so. If you're gonna take a lot of picks, if they're in the late rounds, you get a lot of picks, but you might get a lot of duds too. So it will be interesting. You can get all the picks you want, because of course you can trade for 7th and 6th round picks. But at the end of the day, is it worth it? We'll have to wait and see.
Depends on the confidence of the GM and their scouting. But I'll say this. Mm-hmm. It may not always be picks for this year. Might be picks you're stacking next year to make the plan on that. Hey, we may move up for this one guy, later. And for me, this is just me. Again, first round, everybody loves the first round. We trade up in top 10. And I don't want to say it's Susie because that's where you get, unless it's a guy you can't pass up on, that's where the duds come in. It's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. Where those are the guys that are if you get a stack pile of 3rd, 4th, Dolphins have 3 third-round picks. Oh man, I'm salivating with that because those are the guys that at that point that's the scouting department. Round 1 is everybody's doing mock draft. Everybody knows round 1. It's round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everybody's like, oh wait, you're not looking at this guy. Oh, what about that guy? Everybody's talking about Ty Simpson and Mendoza and Alar and Nussmeier. But the kid out of Baylor, Sawyer Robinson, 6'4", big arm. That's a guy you can get in the 7th round. Tylen Green, another guy. There's other guys, running back, Mike Washington Jr., later in the draft. Receiver, corner. Oh, everybody's talking about McCoy and Dunsor and from LSU. Tacario Davis out of Washington. There's names all over the place. So, what Adrian's saying there, this is how I feel. There are some positions that are deep. There are other ones that not so much, So for sure, it'll be fun. It's interesting to go, but who's under that desk, Bobby? No, I'm fixing my I was trying to put my chancletas back on. It looked like I was kicking somebody. I'm like, get on my desk. No, I'm trying to put because I'm gonna go in and freaking try to get rid of this. So anyway, I wanted to make a deal for Max Crosby with Tua money. Why still about the same? That's interesting. But we'll talk about that on another day, David. Join us next Thursday. Love to talk more about it. That's Finn Sammy. I'm Bobby Finstock. Make sure you like and subscribe, and most importantly, as always, Dolphin fans, fins up.